What we do to the planet, we do to ourselves. You can help keep America beautiful. Visit KAB.org.
Creative Signs, we make large and small property and business signs, full-color, digitally printed banners, as well as vinyl lettered ones for celebrating special events. Yard signs for selling your home or making special announcements like your graduating senior. Turn your vehicle into a moving billboard with vehicle lettering or magnetics. Creative Signs, Monroe, 770-267-7368.
Walton Wellness is truly a unique organization. It is dedicated to the prevention of lifestyle-related chronic illness such as diabetes and heart disease. One of the things that makes Walton Wellness so unique is what it is built upon, the building blocks, the way that it's designed. And we designed it on what we have coined the wheel of community wellness. We have visualized it through this graph, which is actually the wheel. And it's explained like this. The blue ring, the inner ring, is called our influences. Family, friends, knowledge, lifestyle, DNA, education level. These are all the major influences, or what I like to refer to as filters, that we make our choices, our life decisions based upon. The next ring is called choices we make. That is the choices that we make in our lives. Do we regularly exercise? What kind of diet do we eat? The neighborhood that we live in, our occupation. All of these things are the choices that we make, especially in regards to our health. The next ring is what we call the environment. That's the community where we live. Do we have sidewalks that enable us to go out with regular exercise? Do we have grocery stores with adequate fresh fruits and vegetables? What's the religious attitudes in our community? What region of the country do we live in? What type of community organizations do we have? Then what makes the part about Walton Wellness being so unique is this outer ring, the fourth ring, which is the yellow ring. That is what we call the prevention catalyst. That is where Walton Wellness has gone into the community and solicited partners from the elected officials, the public schools, churches, civic organizations, law enforcement. We've solicited them as partners to come in with us and create projects that create a culture of health in our community.
Director of Marketing here in Monroe at Clearview Regional Medical Center. Thank you so much for tuning in today and joining us. We've got lots of great events coming up here at Clearview with several of our different programs. If you're not already familiar, we have 2 different programs that you can join as an individual here in the community to get certain perks and bonuses, sometimes even some different events going on and different giveaways. One of them is our Senior Extra program, and that is open for anyone to join, and we most specifically target our seniors. We have weekly seminars on everything from colon health to heart health, stroke prevention, CPR classes, all sorts of different events that are going on for our seniors to learn about and be educated about in order to keep their selves healthy. So that's our Senior Extra program, and our other program is called Cuddle Bugs, and that is for new or expecting mothers to sign up to receive a weekly email that updates them on the progress of their pregnancy, as well as giving them also some helpful hints and tips for taking care of themselves and their bodies and their babies. If you've not been out here to visit us at our new facility, we certainly welcome you to come and take a tour at any time. We have a 50-bed facility here, and we currently are undergoing a 27-bed expansion to add 27 more inpatient rooms, 7 of which will be devoted completely to joints and to orthopedics, so that we will have a Clearview joint pavilion here that everyone can come and take advantage of our great facility and our great services. We have tons of different service lines, everything from orthopedics to geriatrics and neurology, whatever you need. We have someone on staff here that can serve all of your needs. So if you're looking for a physician, we have a physician referral line, and that number is 1-877-933-2762. You can call that phone number and get information about any of our referral physicians here that are on staff and their specialties, so you can find someone to meet all of your needs. Additionally, our website is a great source of information, and that is www.clearviewregionalmedicalcenter.com. It's a bit of a mouthful, but go there to get information about all of our classes, about all of our different programs that we have, the Senior Extra program as well as the Cuddlebugs program. You can also find information about our doctors, about upcoming events, and any other sorts of resources that you might need from us here as your community hospital. So if you ever need anything, don't hesitate to contact us through the website or calling us directly here at the hospital. We would love to serve all of your healthcare needs and be your true community hospital. So I'm Emily Russell at Clearview Regional Medical Center.
Hey, my name is Craig Buckles here at Buckles Hardware. We've been in business for about 40 years. We're located in Monroe at 113 North Broad Street. And we have a lot of different items in here that a lot of people don't have, and we can fix you up, and we have the knowledge and qualified sales staff that can help you, and be glad to help you with anything you need. Here at Buckles, we have all your favorite seeds sold in any amount you want. All of our plants are packed the way you want to buy them, and we have heirloom and hybrid type tomato plants for your gardening fun. We have a good sales staff that's knowledgeable about planting plants, and we can answer any questions that you want. And we also sell fertilizer and all kinds of garden tools. Yeah, and we can answer any questions that you might have, and be sure and call us. Our number is 770-267-5833. And we have a real knowledgeable sales staff, so if you have any kind of questions or you're a first-time gardener, we can sure help you with that. And we appreciate your business here at Buckles Hardware and invite you to come on in and check us out for all your gardening needs.
Well, and you never, like, for me, we just got off the phone when I came over here. Unfortunately, 5 minutes away, so that's okay. But I'm talking to the guy that's in Greece. I can't get off the phone. He needs to go to bed. You know, so that can happen. That's a good question. I don't know. Anything.
Y'all stand? Phil, would you be so kind to lead us?
Okay, let us pray.
Well, good afternoon to everyone. And looks like we've got a great crowd on a beautiful day. So we've got a couple things that we're going to be doing today. We've got a new member that we're going to induct. We've got just a little bit of business that I want Ms. Becky to update us on, and then we've got our program that Paul will introduce our speaker. So before we even get started, as far as recognizing anyone in our club or community that we know that needs our blessings as far as they're not doing well, they're under the weather. I know that we are awful glad to have Norm back with us. And, without an appendix.
He ain't just as much. Well, I did ask the doc if he could take another 20 pounds.
How'd that work for you?
Yeah. Norm, if you did, they trouble.
Is there anyone else here that needs to share some information as far as our members, our community?
Somebody needs to give us an update on Bill Thornton.
Okay.
I talked with him yesterday, and he was still in the hospital. He said that he was just having problems with one lung.
Just one lung? I thought he had trouble with his back. Well, anything else?
Is Frank here?
He left.
Oh, okay. Well, he is having an anniversary in just a couple of days, so when you see him, tell he and Scotty, congratulations. I don't believe there's anybody else, if I've missed anyone. Okay. Becky, I just wanted you real quickly to update us on the grant, and it seems like through all of our emails that it did go through, and you want to update. Before we get to our induction, I know we have several visitors here, and so if our members who brought our guests would like to stand up and introduce them.
I'll start.
All right.
Scott, stand up. Turn around, face like I want to introduce Scott Cook. Scott graduated from the University of Maryland. William and Mary. He actually got to play against Georgia at Sanford Stadium. When was that?
1989.
1999.
Who won?
Should we be happy about that? Or
Yes.
Yeah. Where are you going with it?
I mean, Georgia plays William and Mary and those other lady schools. Anyway, Scott's
digging it deeper and deeper.
Scott is Vice President of our Facility Management, which does grounds maintenance, cleaning, and total facilities management. That's why I want to bring him here and introduce you to. And he said he'd only come if he could leave you with something. So Scott's going to pass some things around.
Depends on what he's going to leave.
Free tickets to win.
Here today to welcome and induct into membership of our club Brett Jennings, whose application has been approved in accordance with our Constitution and bylaws. Mr. Jennings' classification is certified public accountant. His firm, Jennings & Associates, LLC, has recently expanded into Social Circle, and Brett was proposed for membership in Ohio Valley. Brett, we will now proceed to admit you to membership in the Rotary Club of Social Circle, Georgia, and so to the Fellowship of Rotary throughout the world. The ideal of Rotary is service. Our motto is service above self, and the object of this and all Rotary clubs is to encourage and foster this ideal as a basis of all worthy enterprise. In this, you must share. Rotary seeks to promote high ethical standards in business and professionalism and urges each member to apply this ideal of service to his personal, business, and community life. It affords an opportunity to cultivate the friendship of men and women in other vocations, and in recognizing the worthiness of all useful occupations, calls on each member to dignify his own and makes it a channel through which he may better serve the community. Rotary stands for the advancement and understanding, goodwill, and international peace throughout a world fellowship of business and professionals united in the ideal of service. You have been approved for membership in the club because we believe you to be a worthy representative of your vocation and profession, interested in the ideals of Rotary and willing to do your share in translating them to tangible realities. Knowing the obligations imposed by Rotary, you are now asked to make the following declaration. Please repeat after me.
Okay.
I accept the honor of membership
I accept the honor of membership
in the Rotary Club of Social Circle,
in the Rotary Club of Social Circle,
with the obligations attached thereto.
with the obligations attached thereto.
I pledge myself to render
I pledge myself to render
the most willing and effective service
the most willing and effective service
of which I am capable,
of which I am capable,
to attend regularly all meetings,
to attend regularly all meetings,
and to do my utmost
and to do my utmost
to carry out the Rotary motto
to carry out the Rotary motto
of service above self.
of service above self.
Brett, I welcome you into this worldwide fellowship of Rotary, and as an active member of this club, and while your sponsor presents the Rotary pin to you, I propose a standing ovation by our members.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're pinned. Get it, what, get it.
Friend of mine, more than 20 years. Real quick, while you guys file on the table, we're gonna go through it. All I'll say is he's now on staff for the university, Emory University Medical School. I'd like to introduce Dr. Neil Schulman.
First of all, I want to say I'm honored to be invited to speak Rotary, and particularly here in Social Circle. I've been to Social Circle a few times over the years, and I have a lot of respect for what you all do, and particularly for this community and what it's all about and its history. I've had sort of a strange background. I grew up in Washington, D.C. I majored in political science at George Washington University. I applied to law school, got into law school. A friend of mine was at Johns Hopkins. He invited me over to show me how to deliver a baby and sew somebody up. Sort of fun. So I got my deposit back from law school, took a few more courses, applied to medical school, came down to Atlanta. I'd gotten into a few medical schools, but when I got off the airplane, I said, "What country is this?" People were so nice in the South. So I was immediately committed to getting involved. And then when I was in medical school, I lucked out and was concerned about that great hospital, people getting their blood pressure checked, because we had a lot of strokes and people with kidney failure. So I did a study with 20 nurses, and we documented some problems. And then when I finished medical school, the head of nephrology, who had gone to his father was Judge Tuttle, the judge who desegregated the South, and he wanted me to stay at Emory because they got a grant using my data for $7 million. I was part of this $100 million NIH study on blood pressure. So I've been at Emory ever since, but I was giving a lecture. Well, before I get into that lecture, I do want to say that I happen to be a total klutz.
Great.
I mean, when I eat,
Do I need to move that there?
you got it. When I eat, I frequently miss my mouth. When I was dancing with girls, I'd step on their toes. But I have saved more lives than any doctor in America by not being a surgeon. I had a malpractice lawyer who begged me to go into surgery. He said he'd split anything he made. I'd be $1 billion within a year. But in any event, I got into this blood pressure thing, and we had 14 centers throughout the country, and it was an interesting experience. And I wrote a lot of papers on blood pressure, but I was giving a lecture one day, and I heard somebody snoring. I think it was in Cyprus or something, on blood pressure. And I heard somebody snoring. And it was me. So I said, I'm not enough of blood pressure. So I started writing novels. And the first one was Finally I'm a Doctor. And that was about going through medical school. And my grandmother was one of these women who decided I was going to be a doctor when I was born. She was at the delivery table when my mother was delivering me. And when I came out of the uterus, she said, "Are you going to be a doctor? If you aren't, you go back in." So, in any event, I wrote that book, and then I started working on this book, What Then Again, with Carl Hyacin.
who was a student at Emory. And next thing you knew, Michael Fox wanted to make it into a movie. And we ended up making the movie Doc Hollywood. And I worked for Warner Brothers as an associate producer, which meant I worked with the screenwriters when they would, try to adopt the book to a screenplay. And these guys called me, they did Who Framed Roger Rabbit and The Grinch. And they were out in Hollywood, they called, they said, we want to come out and see what Georgia's about. We've never been to the South. I said, do you wear shoes there? So I met him at the Atlanta airport. I had a white coat on, a stethoscope hanging out of my pocket, and I was barefoot. And I put him in an ambulance, a friend of mine had, and took him out to rural Georgia. And we started working on Doc Hollywood. And I will say, Michael Fox was one of the most wonderful people I'd ever worked with. He threw a big dinner for homeless people in Micanopy, Florida, when we were making the movie. And he, of course, came down with Parkinson's. He had his little twitch in his finger when he was making that movie. But I didn't know of that at the time. So, in any event, I got into the movie area of things, and then we worked for Disney, and we have another book we've been working on making into a movie called The Backyard Tribe. And it's about a doctor who goes to Africa, to Kenya, on a flying doctor mission, comes across a little girl who's a member of the Maasai tribe and wants to bring her back for heart surgery. And her parents say, no way. And the doctor says, well, look, here's my American Express card. The family can come too. And the entire tribe comes over on his American Express card. They set up their village in his backyard in Dunwoody. The witch doctor starts treating people at all the Atlanta hospitals, and they all get better. So Disney had us write a screenplay on that, but that hasn't been made yet. And then I was going on a treasure hunt with a guy by the name of Mel Fisher, who was down in Key West. And he was trying to find the gold from a Spanish galleon that sank in the 1600s. And we got the rights to his life. And since I learned a little bit about the movie industry, I went out and tried to sell the movie rights, and nobody was interested. So I came back, turned on the Johnny Carson show, and he found the gold. He was on Johnny Carson. I got a new reservation, went back to Hollywood, and everybody wanted to make it. So that was made as a CBS Movie of the Week. And then I get a call from Patch Adams, the real Patch Adams. And he had just come home from, come back from Robin Williams' house. He had been spending a week with Robin Williams, and they were making a movie on his life. A clown and somebody who does a lot of volunteer stuff in the community as a doctor. And he said, what should he expect? And I said, well, what's the name of the movie going to be? He said, Patch Adams. I said, you're going to be very famous. So I said, come to Atlanta, I'll rent Symphony Hall. And we did an event called The Real Doc Hollywood Presents The Real Patch Adams. And then I became president of his organization for a while. And they do a lot of humanitarian things. And then I just started getting involved with all these people who are doing humanitarian things. And Rosalind Carter called me, and we did a fundraiser with her and Clay Aiken to help with caregiving. And, you know, in my way of thinking, we all won the lottery. You know, it takes 50 million sperms to fertilize an egg. You're a winning sperm. You're a winning sperm. You're a winning egg and sperm. It takes 5 eggs. You know why it takes only 5 eggs and 50 million sperms?
Because men are so lazy.
They won't ask directions. They are lazy. So, we all won this dash of life. And I think that as a human species, we should be responsible and caring and like the rest of the animal kingdom. And nothing against humans, but you know, sometimes I just think that we don't get the greatest joy by just helping others. And it's organizations like Rotary, in my mind, that need to be celebrated all over the world. And when I was in Kenya, I worked with Rotary, and we went out and did community screening and ended up bringing kids over for heart surgery. And Rotary was the one that helped us do that. We had a big conference. And Rotary symbolizes this. So I said, well, how can we get the human species to be more humanitarian? So 4 years ago, since I've been in Emory a long time, and I get this big fat salary of $15,000 a year at Emory now, because I don't want to get more grants, I don't want to treat more patients. What I'd like to do is use the university as a platform to do something that might be a little unique. So what we've started is this global humanitarian summit. And it's an event where the university donates the space, people in the community all help put it on, and the entire event is free. And it's just people speaking on humanitarian things they do. And they're like 100 speakers, and you go into, it's like a festival of humanity. And then afterwards, anybody can have exhibits, and people exhibit on what they did. We had the richest man from Kuwait come, and he helped us with Katrina. He's a Muslim gentleman. They're the richest family in Kuwait, and they helped us with Katrina, and nobody knew about that. But they just were there. Then you had a guy who goes on Christian missions to Africa. He's 83 years old, and he teaches teenagers how to do C-sections, so you don't have to crush the baby's head and to save the mother's life. And then you have, in the same room, all charged up, a guy who was in jail. He was a drug dealer, and he's now out of jail, and he works with kids so they won't get into drugs, and tries to help them with that. And all these people are charged up. So the event is going to take place in mid-April. There's a website. Anybody can go to it. It's just GHHS 2013, which is Global Health Humanitarian Summit, GHHS2013.org. But the thing is totally free. Now an MIT professor came down. He wants MIT to have one. A general from China wants them to have one at Peking University in China. And if we could just, there was a session on humans getting along with humans. So our hope is to really have humanitarian summits all over the world. And as I said, I think Rotary is a role model. And just as you get an education, just as you learn the business world, learning how to be a humanitarian and infecting that in your spirit, I think, can make you really a wonderful person. And as I said, I've learned a lot from friends who are on Rotary. Now, I wanted to donate a few things, but before I do that, I wanted to just throw out some personal advice about health. Is anybody here a doctor? One of the best ways, I think, to be healthy is humor. Humor is great medicine. And everybody has humor in them. I just want to prove that to you right now. Let's see, is there a married couple in the room? There's one.
Right here, over there.
The two that are seated further apart.
Happy marriage. So that's your husband over there?
Yes, it is.
How long have you been married?
33 years, almost 30.
Proves she has a sense of humor.
Seems more like 40.
Do you remember when you first set eyes on it?
Yes.
Where was it?
Going
In Atlanta.
What was the name of that bar?
In Atlanta.
A bar?
It was a little, yeah. It was, yeah, but it was a blind date. We didn't
No,
know.
it wasn't a date.
You were set up on a blind date?
Yes.
By a friend?
Yes, yes.
He introduced us and I've not seen him since.
That's a lie.
So you went to the bar to meet him?
Well, actually, I had a date with the guy that was introducing us because neither one of us wanted to go on a blind date, so it was kind of three of us. Because I didn't want to mix up.
You're digging a hole in there.
Well, he's asking questions, so I'm trying to be honest.
What did you think when you saw him?
Let's not go there.
Is that what you thought?
That's what you thought?
Yeah.
What did you think?
She looked pretty good.
So then it was your challenge, right? So
Yeah,
what was
I picked her and the chair up and moved it closer to me.
You remember that?
Absolutely.
What did you think?
He's pretty strong.
I liked him.
So, do you remember when he proposed to you?
I did.
So you were picked up at a bar?
So how did he propose?
He just asked me to marry him.
Did he get on his knees?
No, he did not.
Did he have a ring?
Not at that time.
Did he have a job?
Yes, he did.
Was it that same night at that same bar?
He was pretty close to closing time.
What did you say?
When he asked me to marry him? Oh, I thought about it for about 30 seconds, and I said yes, I would. But it was not that same night.
Listen, I did it the right way. I asked her father if I could have her hand in marriage, and he said, she's educated, she's healthy, her teeth are in good shape, and if she comes back, I'm bringing her back to him. Is that not true?
That's true.
No return.
No returns at my, he said no returns at my house.
I met a couple. The guy's 93, his wife's 90. And I said, how'd you all get together? And she said, when we were starting to date, my parents were furious. I said, why? He's 93, she's 90. She said, it was a long time ago. He was 17 and I was 14.
Wow.
He was too old.
Yeah. So I said, what did you say when he proposed to you? She said, yes, sir.
Walton County, this is Kevin Littlewood, the Chairman's Report on Walton Entertainment, Channel 16. Missed you there for the past couple of weeks. I know Derry Boyd put on a little presentation about what's going on with the car tags and hand-to-hand sales. Appreciate him stepping in and doing that. Got a lot of things going on in Walton County as the new year has kicked off and we're heading into spring. Want to let you know that Hard Labor Creek, the road realignments are underway, so if you're on Social Circle Fairplay, Mount Perrin Road, or anywhere around down in there, you may see some delays or some detours. They're in the process right now of realigning Social Circle Fairplay Road. They'll be building a 700-foot long bridge that'll be going over one part of the reservoir. The dam for the reservoir hope to be starting later on this year, and these roads have to be moved and secured prior to any elevation taking place on the dam, because on a torrential rainfall like we've had in the last few weeks here, some of those roads could go under water if we hadn't had them prepared. So that's the first step, is to get the roads relocated and then go from there to get things ready to go. So you should see some action happening on that part of the county, and the money that we got from Governor Deal in the state of Georgia is going to be used wisely to get this Hard Labor Creek up and going, where we at Walton County will have a water source in the very near future. Another item I want to talk to you about is Charlotte-Rowell Boulevard on Highway 11 North. Nearly about everywhere I go, people want to understand, they can't understand exactly how that's going. Right now, if you come down by Chick-fil-A and Walmart going out to 78, you can only go to 78 eastbound toward Athens. Once the construction is completed, you'll be able to go under the bridge and go on to Highway 11 farther north. That'll be a 2-lane road under the bridge there. Same way if you come back from Athens on 78 going towards Walmart and Chick-fil-A, normally now you can get off and go under the bridge one way, but you'll come down to a red light at Charlotte-Rowell Boulevard. You'll be able to turn right and go back up toward the Board of Education, or you'll be able to turn left to go towards Chick-fil-A. What this is designed to do is to be a relief for the Highway 11 78 interchange. Many of you, if you sit there, a lot of times in the afternoons, it backs up all the way down to 78, and so plus it'll open up a little bit on the northern side of 78 there for some economic development for the city of Monroe, and just another road to relieve traffic, as that's a little congested area out around the hospital, Home Depot, and Walmart. So that's probably going to be most of the spring and summer getting that road done, probably be maybe Christmas time. I hadn't seen the actual schedule deadline on when that's going to be done, but it'll be exciting to have that where you'll have some options. I know myself, I've got backed up on 138 down there, and once you get around that curve, there's nowhere to go. All you can do is sit and wait, and I've sat there for 30, 40 minutes, so it'll be nice to have that relief. I want to talk to you about the budget. Walton County Board of Commissioners right now are doing budget hearings with our constitutional officers and department heads, preparing the fiscal 2014 budget. We are excited about the way that conservative we've been with your dollars. We spend them wisely and not been astronomically wild with spending and providing the services that you demand at a cheap dollar amount here. And so looks like this year going forward, that's kind of what Walton County is looking at again. Everybody's come forward. They have expressed their needs to us, and they've itemized and prioritized their needs to where we can hopefully deal with it. The bonding that we've had in the past that we've been concerned about is gone now, so we can actually know exactly the real dollars that we're working with, and we don't have to worry about the bonding that was there before. Yesterday, Walton County voted to Board of Commissioners at the second. This was a call meeting after the meeting from 1st of March we suspended the impact fees. So if you're building a house or fixing to build a house in Walton County, now the impact fees are suspended, and it'll show up as a zero on the bill there, and you won't have to pay any impact fees. We're trying to do some stuff to spur the economy here. You know, with the Caterpillar over in the Athens area and Baxter in the south side of the county, we figure there are going to be some people in here looking for housing and looking for places to reside, and we just want to make Walton County as attractive as we can, and so that would give us a little bit of advantage, we hope, over the Newton and the Clark County there, because they have impact fees in place. And so, like I said, there's a lot of things going on in Walton County, and if you have questions or concerns, please feel free to give me a call, 770-267-1316. Thank you.
Welcome to this week's edition of the Health Story. My name is Dee Dee Harris, the Executive Director of Walton Wellness, Inc., a nonprofit located here in Walton County dedicated to the prevention of lifestyle-related chronic illness, focusing on heart disease and diabetes. Each week I like to come to you with hopefully some type of helpful tip for you or someone that you love, or I'd like to bring to you some new information or resources that we might have available here in our community. And today I want to talk just a little bit about something called genetic risk. A lot of times this can be a little bit confusing to people, especially when you go to a doctor for the first time. How much paperwork do you have to fill out? They usually hand you a stack with a clipboard and a pen and ask you to go sit down, and about 30 minutes later you're able to come up and hand it all in. Well, part of that paperwork typically is called a family history, and you all are familiar, I'm sure, with having to go down the list and fill out the questions of the family history. And a lot of times people don't really understand why they're having to answer all this family history questions. But what that is about is, as I'm sure you have heard of, that we are genetically at higher risk for certain diseases or chronic illnesses or conditions that run in our family. Now, when I say genetically higher risk, that doesn't mean that you are determined that you are going to get it. That doesn't mean that it is basically there's nothing you can do and you are going to develop that disease or condition or whatever just because you have a strong family history or because it runs in your family. That is one of the things that I wanted to talk about this morning and kind of explain exactly what that does mean. We all know that we have genes which are carried from person to person throughout our family. But what is most important, obviously, is it has to be in a bloodline. Especially for children, they don't understand a lot of times that when you're married, you're not necessarily related, blood related to your spouse or to your spouse's family. So obviously, it is important that when you're talking about family history, it is within your own bloodline. Also, most of the time, what really matters is what we consider a close bloodline, and that would be parents, siblings, and grandparents, maternal and paternal, father's parents, mother's parents. Basically, when you get out to uncles and aunts and cousins and great-great-grandparents and all of that kind of stuff, it kind of waters down the genes, so to speak. So your genes are not as strong as it comes down the line. Now that does mean that it may be something that runs in the family and it's been passed down, but it's not as strong. What they're typically looking at to determine if you are genetically at a higher risk for developing something, they are looking at someone who's pretty close in your bloodline. And so that's what they want to see, and that's typically what those family histories are asking about too. Now, why are we not predetermined to get these conditions if everyone in our family has gotten them? Well, as Walton Wellness, what we're all about is lifestyle. A lot of times, a lot of conditions or diseases that run in a family are lifestyle related. It does often depend on what type of lifestyle that our family before us have led. Now, some conditions you might end up getting no matter what kind of lifestyle. I like to use my mother as an example. She has lived fairly healthy lifestyle. She is thin, she exercises still, and she has always lived pretty healthy. However, in her 40s, she had to go on blood pressure medicine. It about killed her. She's a nurse, and so she knew what that meant as far as going on blood pressure medicine, and she did not want to do it. She was very upset about it, I can remember. But it was one of those things that she was very high risk genetically. Her father had to go on blood pressure medicine at an earlier age, and it kind of went back through the family. So she
was genetically at a higher risk. Even though she lived a healthy lifestyle and all of that stuff, it was not going to help her when it came to having to start blood pressure medicine. Now, what she was able to do is, even though she did have to go on blood pressure medicine, is she has controlled her blood pressure very well so that she doesn't have to take a very high dose of blood pressure medicine. She hasn't had to do anything other than just going on the basic blood pressure medicine. So there's lots of things that you can do even if you are predisposed or have a high genetic risk for some type of condition or instance. One thing that you can do, if it is definitely lifestyle related, is you can prolong the onset of that condition or disease, depending if you live a healthy lifestyle. If you're exercising and eating healthy and not smoking and doing some of those kind of things, you can actually delay how long it takes for that disease to actually affect you. Maybe your father or mother developed it in her 40s, and maybe if you're living a healthy lifestyle, you won't get it until you're in your 50s or maybe even 60s. So that is one thing. Even though you're at a high genetic risk, you can actually delay the onset of chronic illness. Also, as I said, you may not ever get it, but even if you do get it at an earlier age and you're living a healthy lifestyle and you feel like I'm doing everything that I possibly can, by continuing to live a healthy lifestyle, you can control that condition, keep it under control, and you may have to stay on medication for it, but you can stay on a low dose medication and you won't have other complications that often go along with, like hypertension, diabetes, heart disease, those kind of things. So the family history actually is very important. So the next time you go to the doctor for the first time and they hand you all that paperwork and you're over there in the corner filling it out and kind of grumbling to yourself, why do I have to do this? It actually is very beneficial for you and for your doctor. So if you have to leave a lot of the family history blank because you don't know, I encourage you to ask your relatives. Hopefully if your parents are living or grandparents, start questioning them about why did so-and-so die, or what kind of conditions do run in your family, because these are very important things for you to know for yourself and then future for your children or even your grandchildren. So I encourage you to find out about your family history as far as health goes and to remember how important it is. So try to fill out that paperwork as closely as much as you know. Put it on there so that it will help your doctor in determining if you have some strange symptoms or whatever. He's able to look back or she's able to look back at your family history and see, well, this kind of condition may run in your family. As always, if you want more information, you can find us on the web at waltonwellness.org. Also, all of our contact information is on there as well, but you can always get me the old-fashioned way by phone, which is 770-313-8107. Thanks for watching.
Hi, I'm Elaine Oakes, Director of Keep Walton Beautiful and the Walton County Recycling Center, joining you today with this week's edition of the Walton Waste Watcher Report. Today, I just want to share a couple of things with you. First of all, we had, I think, told you about our Document Destruction Day that we're sponsoring with the assistance of Carmichael Drug Store. We had talked about doing it in May, but we've had some challenges. We've been a little bit short of staff out here at the recycling center, and we decided we needed a little bit more time to publicize this event. So we are changing the date to Saturday, June the 8th. I'm not sure of the time yet, but I'm thinking it's going to be 10 to 12 on that Saturday in the Carmichael Drugstore parking lot up towards the front. And I'll be reminding you of this, but so many times people will call us and say, oh, I didn't hear about that, or I wish I had known. So you'll hear us talking about that and reminding you over the next few weeks. But once again, it will not be in May. It'll be on June the 8th. The other thing I wanted to tell you today is with the spring coming up, even though it doesn't seem like spring with our chilly weather right now, we see a lot of people, begin to do their spring cleaning, and they even do things around their yard. We want to remind you that we do not take any kind of yard waste at this facility, which is located on Leroy Anderson Road. There are several inert landfills in our county. They're privately owned, and that was one reason the county did not try to start an inert landfill, because there were already operational inert landfills in our county. So if you have yard waste and you do not know where to take that yard waste, please feel free to call us, and we'll give you the phone numbers of the ones in the different areas, and then you can choose who to call and check on the prices and things like that. We are still open 6 days a week. We are closing to the public 15 minutes earlier than what was featured before. We've been doing that over a year, but it takes a little bit of time for us to close down our computers. If somebody's back on the pad dumping, we have to give them time to get out of our facility. So if you have a really big load to bring to the Walton County Recycling Center, for example, during the week, you need to probably get here no later than 3:30, maybe a little bit before that, because we shut down and don't allow anybody back in there after 3:45. And then on Saturday, the same thing. We close technically at 1:45. We do not allow anybody back on the pad after that time. So you need to get there at least 20 minutes ahead of time, or if you feel like your load is really huge, give yourself time to get in and out of the facility so the staff can do what they need to do to close in a timely fashion. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope everyone has a good week and happy spring.
You are what you eat. What does that make you?
I work for Walton Wellness. We partner up with Fish, and we're doing a community farmers market. It's a referral-based market, and we're trying to provide healthy options for food, a lot of fresh produce for people who may be going through kind of a hard time. And it's fun to be out here giving back to the community.
Well, I will say I've never seen a model like Walton Wellness before. Not a community-wide model that is looking at the overall needs of a community and finding some very innovative ways, I think, to address the needs to improve the health of the community.
And it's great. It's very impressive and empowering to see helping so many people here.
Provide good food for them so that they can have a good diet and maintain a good healthy lifestyle.
People that had going through a tough period, and they have an opportunity to have fresh produce.
Both my parents are diabetic, so we do have to cut back on the sugars and the sodas and the sweet stuff. So we are definitely trying to start to eat healthier.
Thanks for tuning in today. We're about to show you some of the dogs and cats available for adoption here at Walton County Animal Control. Springtime is right around the corner, so if you don't have a pet, why not add one this year? Get a dog that can go walking or maybe jogging with you this spring and summer, or a cat to enjoy the back porch with you. We've got all kinds of animals that come through the shelter, from mixed breeds to pure breeds, large dogs, small dogs, every color cat that you'd want. Kittens will be coming in soon, so if you've been thinking about adding a pet to your household for the kids or for yourself, come on down to the animal shelter and check out what we have here. As always, you can window shop at www.waltonpets.net, or we even have a Facebook page now that you can follow as well. You can come to the shelter from 2 to 4:45 any day, Monday through Friday, and we are open certain Saturdays, but just check our website for those hours and come on down and adopt a pet.
This is a 5-year-old American Bulldog Boxer mix, Brindle and White. She was picked up 2 days ago. Now she's looking for a good home.
Boxer
boxer mix. She's about 2 years old. She's already spayed, looking for a good home. Very sweet dog. Come here, man. Come here. Come here, come here, come here.
We got a Dotson mix. He's a male. He's already neutered. He's about 5 years old. He needs somebody with some experience with animals. He's a little timid, but once he warms up to you, he's really sweet.
This is Duke. He's about 5-year-old brindle and white boxer. He was owner surrendered about 3 or 4 days ago. He does have a bum back right leg. I think he got ran over at one time. But he's a sweet dog. He's definitely looking for a home.
All right, this happy girl, she's a German short-haired pointer mix or maybe a Wiesla Hound mix. Very beautiful girl. She's got a microchip, and we've been calling a possible owner for about a week, and no one's called us back, so it's looking like she'll need to go into a home. She does play well with other dogs and just seems to have a great personality, and she's ready for adoption now. Yeah, this is Travis. He's about a 2 or 3 year old German Shepherd mix. Real handsome guy, looks real healthy. He came into the shelter as a stray, but no owners come looking for him, so he's ready to go into a new home. If you're looking for a German Shepherd or mix, this is your dog.
Hey, my name is Craig Buckles here at Buckles Hardware. We've been in business for about 40 years. We're located in Monroe at 113 North Broad Street. And we have a lot of different items in here that a lot of people don't have, and we can fix you up, and we have the knowledge and qualified sales staff that can help you, and be glad to help you with anything you need. Here at Buckles, we have all your favorite seeds sold in any amount you want. All of our plants are packed the way you want to buy them, and we have heirloom and hybrid type tomato plants for your gardening fun. We have a good sales staff that's knowledgeable about planting plants, and we can answer any questions that you want. And we also sell fertilizer and all kinds of garden tools. Yeah, and we can answer any questions that you might have, and be sure and call us. Our number is 770-267-5833. And we have a real knowledgeable sales staff, so if you have any kind of questions or you're a first-time gardener, we can sure help you with that. And we appreciate your business here at Buckles Hardware and invite you to come on in and check us out for all your gardening needs.
Do you have a collection of films and videotape sitting in your attic, basement, hall closet, or a box somewhere that are being lost to time? Creative artists can transfer your 8mm, Super 8mm, and 16mm films, as well as converting your VHS, CVHS, 8mm, and mini DV to DVD. Preserve your family's video history for the generations to come. Creative Artists, 1113 West Spring Street, Monroe, 770-267-7368.
Green, green, green. It's your home, it's your dream. Radon test and keep it healthy and clean. Make it green, green, green.
Making it green is making sure the air in your home is healthy for your family to breathe. Make sure you test your home for the presence of radon. It's easy. To learn more, call 866-730-GREEN. Preserve your family's health and well-being. Get your home tested. Now that's living healthy and green.
Green, green, green. It's your home, it's your dream. Radon test and keep it healthy and clean. Make it green, green, green.
To learn more, call 866-730-GREEN.
Creative Signs, we make large and small property and business signs, full color, digitally printed banners, as well as vinyl lettered ones for celebrating special events. Yard signs for selling your home or making special announcements like your graduating senior. Turn your vehicle into a moving billboard with vehicle lettering or magnetics. Creative Signs, Monroe, 770-267-7368.